We are live.
Oh my gosh. Oh! I tricked him, didn't I? I tricked him.
Yeah, actually, we're having so much fun. Life is so much fun. It's like a barrel of monkeys, but I don't know what to do with the monkeys. Thank you guys for joining us once again, and now we're checking to see if there's going to be anybody joining us here. Gosh. You know, we've had so many good discussions with our regular clientele. And, you know, it looks like if we could just get past maybe the next 6 to 9 months, I think we're going to be okay. But I think Inspire Me is in the house, as well as Ann Jeanette. Welcome. Andy Sings, much love over there in Australia. Jackie Fox, good to see you. Hi, Energy's 1111.
Energy's 1111.
Kapow, 2323 in the house. Good to see you too. Joffrey, brother, I hope you're doing well. Our beloved KK as well. Christopher Rojas, hello from Minnesota. I hope everybody is having a great day out there.
Indeed. It's really good to see you guys. Can you take a look at that? I'm not getting a... Hopefully, it looks like you guys got all your, doohickeys where they said, hey, they're here. So let's hop online. And on my phone and on our very own channel, it just takes me forever before I get a notification. There's DJ. Good. Hello, Miss Michelle Hamill. Yes, I did get that email. I replied. So we need to hook up. James Mercado. And hello. And feeling good from Jacksonville, Florida. Susan C. K-Heads 2. Oh, look! There's that Joe Mara guy. Oh, my gosh. He's in the house. Watch out. He is trouble. Times 2. I'm scared.
Yeah, silly me.
a man of many words. I was turning it down. Yeah. So that's a good thing. He's very quick and witty right now. Yep. And English Raven, blessings to you too. Good to see you guys. Oh, we got 32 people. Rasta Bear in the house. Portland in the house. Very, very beautiful area. I was from northern Idaho. I don't know if Portland is very much the same, but oh, and Shine Your Light, I think I missed you. Hello, good to see you. Pure Blood, good to see you too. Yeah, I like northern Idaho because I miss rocks. Where I'm at right now, there's not very many rocks. And in Idaho and Nevada, I had rocks. I love, I'm that weirdo who goes for a walk and then comes back and like all my pockets are full of stones and stuff. But, and I don't have that here. I miss the rocks. Gosh darn it. So it's great to see you guys in the house. Very wonderful. Waiting for more to say hello. Please come in and say hello. There's that EEARTS guy. Watch out for them too. Yeah. Tyler Thompson, Utah chap saying hi. Well, hello there. Great to see you. Frankie the Blue Nose Puppy and Friends. That is so cute. I hope you write a child's book and you name it just that. Just exactly that. Frankie the Blue Nose Puppy and Friends. That's so cute. Yes, Ross Bear. Idaho is beautiful. I was up by Coeur d'Alene, right up there, sort of by a little close to Canada, God's country. And, when I was little, I got to hop on my paint horse and I just went off into the mountains. No phone, no helmet, no saddle, no nothing, just whatever was available. Brenda, hello and blessings to you too. Yeah, it was the best time of my life. I had the best childhood. You just can't get much better than that. I mean, I'm sure there's good childhoods, but for me, that was the best. It was very, very fitting.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a great childhood too. I think it's maybe a generational thing, because my mom thought that she was so blessed in her childhood and that was so much better than when I was a kid. But I look back and I think the 70s and 80s were pretty damn good. I mean, the 70s we had some economic troubles. We might be seeing stuff like that this year too. Let's hope not. But what I was starting to say was I just feel like we got to get through, this period of time, 6 to 9 months, and then I think we'll all breathe a little easier. I hope so. But at the same time, it feels like there's pushback from the Empire, let's say. If we're using Star Wars terms, it's like the Empire Strikes Back mode is in effect.
It is. And, the best thing we can do, I feel, is stick together in certain ways, at least as much as we can. It's a very lonely Tyler Thompson. 80s here were top notch for me. I agree. Love the 80s. I just don't think you get any better. The best time to grow up, 70s and 80s. I agree, Brenda. Yeah, absolutely wonderful. And it's like, even the kids today, I hear them listening to like 80s music too. So it's like, it's truly something that was legendary, a time that was legendary, very interesting, where people were just sort of doing some different things and experiencing different things. Ross to Bear, my childhood was good. I grew up in Virginia. I had childhood leukemia, though. That was a big rough, but I survived it. Thank goodness. So glad that you're here, Ross to Bear. That's a very, very scary thing. And, and not everybody does, but here you are. So you have great purpose.
Yes, we are very grateful for that. Again, there's so much we can do to safeguard our health, and we'll touch on some of that too. I just wanted to, as always, thank everybody for being part of the family, and make sure you are, again, subscribed to all the channels, including Heart's Home. This is our place of refuge and resource for souls diving deep into their own unique spirituality, and that's the key, our own unique spirituality. If you go into any of our channels and you click the More button, you'll see links that will take you to the other channels, also our website, our Patreon, and our Ko-Fi, and also our email address if you need to set up and make an appointment with us. And while we're on those subjects, this is Dr. Joe, and no, we haven't permanently kidnapped him. We're only borrowing him for a week or two, or maybe a month or two. We'll see how long it goes. We're trying to get him to be a permanent neighbor and join our local area. And so this is his newest channel. This just opened like a day or two ago. This is his A Guiding Light. So please do subscribe again to his channel, and also his channel that it predates any of our channels. It goes way back. This is Universal Talking, which now it's got 4 fresh videos on it, or 5 actually. So, there are some really great older videos that it's really cool to go back and to, get that blast from a past, because it's still very, very relevant. And this is our Patreon. This was our last Patreon exclusive 2 days ago. There's usually a new Patreon exclusive every few days. And this is the beginning of a big series on developing to your potential. And developing superhuman potential is a possibility, because we're out of the Kali Yuga.
Yes, definitely. Please go over to A Guiding Light and hit subs, because we're trying to help Joe grow and become bigger and, make his way into the energy world where he belongs. He's very much a healer. He's very, very good man. And I just noticed that I was trying to find his channel earlier, and I was typing in the word light wrong. So it's L-I-T-E.
That's why.
Yes, I was typing in it the wrong, but that's me. I just didn't do good in school.
Well, actually, probably the most correct spelling is L-I-G-H-T.
Oh, okay.
But years ago, the story is that I was looking for a guiding light, but of course there used to be a show. Right, it was a soap opera. Is that right?
Oh my gosh,
is that right? And it was L-I-G-H-T. So of course I had to switch, and I'm Googling, like, can you spell? For some reason I come across L-I-T-E, and you look it up and it's, similar definition. I thought, well, you know what? I'm just going to go with that. And again, this was years ago. Like, I just looked at a post, and I don't know why, I was Googling probably the tags, to with research to see if I could get more hits. And as I was typing it in, it came up under X, which back in 2014 is what popped up. And I think that was Twitter back then, right? So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like ancient stuff. And I was doing this way back, again, before my time. And I didn't know what I was doing. I had a tech guy that helped me. So now your Ellie has helped me out a great deal. And she's a wonderful woman. And, can't speak enough good about her. But here I struggle on the computer. I'm like, pack. But you know what? I'm getting there. So, it's something new to me. It's a challenge, but it's, and yeah, it's frustrating. And I look like that truck, actually. It looks like I got hit by this truck right there.
He's making the best progress, and you guys are helping, and we really, really appreciate it. And I'm sorry. We're trying to kind of make the world a little bit different by putting good people out there, bright lights for people to kind of work with.
Yeah, absolutely. This was Kansas, a truck blown over by the wind. Seems like it's been extremely windy over much of the country, the USA. Recently, there's just one crazy storm after another. As we were saying yesterday, it's like, why does every storm have to be so severe? Well, again, a lot of people have their theories, weakening magnetosphere, South Atlantic anomaly, all these different things going on. And then, of course, we have all those checkerboard patterns up in the clouds. And then, of course, we have HAARP and CERN and all this. I was making a comment to Cindy saying I opened up that more section like I was talking about here. And then when I looked at Evolutionary, it says exposing the dark matrix for what it really is and the real control system for who they really are. That might have something to do with our shadow banning, I think. Maybe a little. Maybe a little.
Yeah. So, what do? I guess you got to kind of talk around those things. I just wanted to say we have a whole bunch of new people in the house. James, Enigma, Methadone Free, Carolina Dream. Super great to see everybody in here. Jed. Just want to make sure I get in everybody because we appreciate every single one of you. It takes all of us to work with the awakening. It takes us supporting each other. And every single person is so very important. In Orange Ray 3, Tyler Thompson. Big severe winter storm warnings for northern Utah. It's on its way. And now for me, we're sending you blessings and protection. So, and that goes for anybody in the room who needs it. But we're just super happy to see everyone here.
This is Thomas Massey. He is a U.S. representative from Kentucky. I believe, too, he is somebody that lost his wife, if I remember, back about a year ago, right? Or something like that. Maybe it was 2 years ago. I don't know. Time flies. It's crazy. But it just seems like he's always doing something that's actually good. And here you go. He just reintroduced the Fed. Federal Reserve Board Abolition Act, H.R. 1846. Yes, we would be well served if the Fed did not exist, as well as the IRS. It's time for us to take our freedom because we truly have been living as indentured debt slaves all of our lives, and really the same thing going back into our history that we know of. It's time. It's more than time. You have, again, the leadership of this planet so intent on making 2025 the year that's written in the history books as the official beginning of World War III. They just seem so completely intent on it when none of us want it. So, again, you got to say it's time for a major change. The whole system has to go. The system is either extremely incompetent in what they do, or they're very competent in what they do. I guess it depends on what their objectives are. So, here you have Macron addressing all Europeans to prepare for war with Russia. Live broadcasts all across the continent. Europe will not accept capitulation of Ukraine to Russia under the guise of peace negotiations. Americans must decide whose side we are on. How about none of the above? None of the above. How about, thinking out of the box? How about peace for a chance, a change? And then here you have German Foreign Minister Baerbock giving an impassioned speech to prepare Germans for war with Russia. So here they are. They're selling war. We don't want to buy. Absolutely not. Why should we? There's absolutely no reason for the average person to support this war. So Germany urges European nations to start mobilizing now and not wait for the formation of incoming government in Germany under Chancellor Merz, expected in April. I do think, again, April is shaping up to be one of the most critical months in our history. At the same time, here you go. This is March 5th. China says it's ready for war with America. Beijing boosts defense spending by 7.2% and warns Washington that it's prepared to fight until the end. Now, China spends less than a third. It's somewhere around a quarter to a third, the amount of money that the U.S. does in military spending. But the amount of money that we spend that actually goes to anything is extremely debatable. We've all heard about $100 nails and $1,000 hammers, so we know we're not. You're not getting the productivity for the money. So again, China is starting to lead the way in many things, but one of the other things that leads the way in, according to the surveys, which again are done mostly primarily by Western-based firms, companies, sources. They're one of the least free nations in the world. I think, again, freedom is something that has been mostly an illusion in this world. And you have the U.S. This is the Pentagon chief's statement. The U.S. is ready for war with China. No, the U.S. citizens aren't, and we have no desire for that.
Mm-mm.
Do they have to create this tough guy appearance so that, that, I don't know. This whole thing to me is theater. It really, it's kind of upsetting, though, because once it makes it to the mainstream, they're beating the drums. And it started over in the UK, the other day or last week. And now, with China and now the U.S. I mean, what are they driving us to? Like again, like you said, none of the citizens want any of this. And now that people are awake, I mean, it seems to me like everybody is awake. Like, no, we don't want this anymore. No, this isn't happening. We've had enough death and destruction over the past several years with what's come out. That a lot of this stuff, and I keep saying people have gotten buyer's remorse from getting the what, and it's just, I don't know, we're done with this craziness. Let's get on with peace.
You were just talking about all the friends that we're losing. Yeah. I mean, we've lost like several people that we know in just the last couple days. And they just are dropping like flies at a point in time.
Young, too.
Young, and relatively young, 50s, 60s, and younger.
Yeah. It's something weird is going on there, and I think it's a mix of, we were talking about it earlier, ascension and some other things too, and to muddy the waters, so you're not really sure, is this person, it's just all very, very sad. And even though it is theater, we're stuck in the middle. We are the children. We're the children who are stuck in the divorce, and we need to kind of walk with each other through this and support each other where we can. And I do appreciate the chat. Everyone is so kind to each other in chat because you guys are feeling it too in some way, shape, or form. All of these changes these big suits are making, they don't have us in mind at all. They just have their, stabilizing their world is what they have in mind.
As I'm reading the chat, I mean, it's a really good thought that, again, we talk, speaking of thought becomes reality. And so the more people that think one thing at one time, it's your general reality. And yeah, we have individual realities, but since we're co-creators in this thing, I mean, whoever is steering this ship, as you can see, it's not just one country, it's global. The whole planet is being influenced by these so-called leaders, and it gets everybody uptight and in fear, brings us down a vibration. And yes, the emerald tablets, as they say here in the chat. And I'm looking, I'm trying to see, but I have over 50-year-old eyes in there. I don't have any cheaters though. Anyway, yes, there's so much more to this energetically, and I just wonder if the people are awake enough to stand up and say no. I mean, what does that look like? Can we avert it? Obviously we can avert it by if we all stand together and pray.
Mm-hmm. Well, energy is it's a very powerful force, and it's a force that has been kept away from us, and it's been something that when you're sick, you have a cold going on or something going on, I mean, the first go-to should be some prayer. The first go-to should be some self-love. It should be some form of energy work on yourself, and go from there. Had I known about energy work, I would not have gone through the things that I went through, which were really horrible. And I know a lot of people, probably if they knew more about energy work and if they knew the benefits of it, if that science was out there in the mainstream, it would be a completely different world. So when we come together like this in a room with all of our co-creating abilities, we are helping to make change, and it's important that we recognize that about ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. And welcome, Dana. Better late than never. And you're not really that much late. So, the statement that English creates a state of cognitive dissonance. And often we end up, putting out into it, because of the way it's put together, negative verbiage with positive intentions. You see this. English has been created for this purpose. Cursive spelling. Good morning, a period, morning is a period of, bemoaning a loss or things like that, which we are doing. Again, Cindy lost one of her very best friends from youth. And then, Joe knows two people that just passed in the last couple days. This is what we're hearing all the time. And unfortunately, it's because people have trusted in things that you can't trust in. And now we're just starting to realize it. And we shouldn't have been trusting it. As far as like the English thing goes, I really love Vedic mantras. And, when you talk in Sanskrit, you're going back and using words that were put together really before we descended into the darkest of the dark age. And so it has a higher resonance, and that's one of our tools that we use all the time, and always recommend, again, the Vedic mantras, because they pull in high frequencies. And Cindy, with her abilities to literally see the energies coming in when you say them, she could see the manifestation that they bring. So let's put out the intention. Maybe we could have a little bit of a prayer for peace using the Vedic terms, Sanskrit terms. If we just simply say Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, that's basically the traditional way of asking for peace. Again, using Sanskrit verbiage. But you could also, if you don't resonate with that, do it any way you want to, because again, it's your intention, and you are co-creators in this reality. So let's put out that intention. Take just a moment before we go through all the rest of the news, that the system will continue to be exposed for what it is, that peace will prevail, and that the world leaders that are posing as being representative of humanity and and having our best wishes in their hearts and minds be exposed for what they really are, and that is, again, parasites. they are truly parasites. They are parasitic. They are opportunists, and they've been proven in many people's eyes, to be just that. And may the rest of the world catch up to where you guys are and understand this. And may we avert a third world war. May we avert a civil war in the U.S. or whatever else they would end up terming it. And, again, may we find understanding through a new system with new, I would say, guidance instead of leadership. Because, again, we have to come up with a totally new way of doing things. This system is a system of control, and it doesn't truly represent the wishes of all those embodied souls on the planet.
Right. And, in our belief systems, all belief systems welcome. It definitely takes people and their belief systems to, oh, cool. We got a bunch of thumbs up in the house. Thank you, you guys. We're very, very grateful for everybody's support, because it takes all of us to do this awakening, every single one of us.
Yes, I get speechless when I start to look at some of these headlines like that, because to me it's like not even our reality. Like today I went outside and I took a drive, went to the local lake and just did like a 1-minute video, and I was taking in the nature, and that's where it's at. The vibration of the nature that's all around us. I'm looking up at the sky, it was blue, the sun was shining, I could feel it on my skin. And I could hear like a subtle breeze that was going across the water. You could just see the subtle waves. And I'm just, you close your eyes and you just listen to that. And it's just serene. And so, I have turned the TV off a long time ago, and, I do catch these, though, because obviously when you're on social media and you're trying to reach people and help people, it pops up. And, it's like kind of like a shock to the system. You start to eat right, you start to exercise, you start to, do what you're supposed to do to take care of the physicalness, the mental, the emotional, spiritual, all aspects. And, you try to keep your vibration as high as you can. And so, yeah, I'm all about, let's do a meditation, let's do a prayer, whatever you want to call it. Let's raise the vibration. We come together and we are like, no, we want peace. That's it. Peace.
Now that I'm thinking, I saw from Barack prayers from my friend Catherine in the hospital with pneumonia. So, may Catherine find her strength and balance and harmony within her body and overcome the pneumonia. Again, when we really truly look at this disease, it's usually disease. In this world, unfortunately, there's a lot of toxic overload. And there's also a lot of immune systems that are not functioning optimally. Root yourself into the ground. The earth is ascending. The earth is going up in frequency. Tune yourself into her frequency and literally ask the earth itself for help and healing. Again, everything that you see is consciousness of some sort. Ultimately, this is a playground for consciousness. It's a place for us to learn and grow and experience new things, but also to share our love with each other, to share all the good things. It's only in this dark system, in the darkest of the Kali Yuga, that we have this upside down, topsy-turvy world where, good is bad and bad is good. And, thankfully, the Kali Yuga has ended according to what we have gotten from the guides. And now I've seen many other sources popping up in agreement. April 8th, 2024, with that eclipse, many have said 2025 is the first full year of a Bronze Age. And so, the dark system's going to do what it can to maintain control because, again, it's parasitic by nature. So may we take control back from the parasites. And when you look at it, there's many ways to take control back. One, avert the war, because this is one of the cards that they could play. They only have a few cards left, and war is one of them. Obviously, they are still doing things that they're not supposed to do in certain states with the checkerboard grid patterns. Tennessee has put up legislation to stop that. Other states have too. There was another one that just joined that. And yet it still continues. That's because the system doesn't answer to the politicians that are actually trying to do their job. It's really within. It's such a infiltrated system in every single aspect, in every single way. You even have people like Klaus just bragging on how he's infiltrated every single country, every single parliament, every single House and Senate. It's what is the reality that we find ourselves in. So again, our will is for peace, and I know you guys want that too. So let us put our intention out there. Anybody that is sick or going through tough times, just put a name out there, and we will all send prayers and positive energies to them. I'll tell you, we have Miles in the house. Miles is an angel himself, though he may deny it. Miles is a wonderful soul, and glad that you're here too, Miles. Please do. Anybody that needs prayers, I'll put out my brother Neil is right now in very bad shape, and his wife Leah. So these are very, very dear friends going through, again, personal trials and tribulations. So ask for healing and positive energy and your prayers for Leah and Neil, and again, any others out there. So Kristen, absolutely, our blessed KK, she goes through hell every day, and I don't think she would mind me saying it, and she really goes through a lot every day, and we absolutely love and adore her.
And she keeps going. She goes on and on and on, and she continues on. But we're all kind of called to do that. It's just not easy. I mean, we all have difficulty. So coming together like this, bringing people together helps. It helps ease the pain a little bit.
Yes, it does. I just read Tyler Thompson's post, and doing construction for a good many years myself, you notice what happened with plumbing over the years. And of course, this isn't medical advice. People need to do their own research, but go look up what we used to do with copper. And at the old well, you'd have a copper cup there, and you can even put like silver. And again, people need to look this up for themselves, but the whole house used to be plumbed in copper. And out of convenience, now we have PEX. And it's a lot quicker and a lot easier. A lot of the old-time plumbers, when it transitioned, and even some of the guys today, they'd rather sweat these the fittings on rather than use the PEX. The plastics is, you could, again, look it up. It could be considered an obesogen. And, I agree with Tyler saying, making the statement where water is a good part of our health. You have to have good, clean water. The big farm, FARM, they're spraying constantly. And when I was a kid, I'll give you an example. Before the big glyphosate spraying everything, the local farmer used to spread the cow manure on the field next door to where I grew up. And I don't know how many 100 acres were there, but we had, I think my mom and dad had 70 acres. But we were just downhill, and you know what they say about crap.
Stuff, yeah. Rolls a certain way.
Well, it leached into the water, down into my parents' well, and when we'd go to take a shower, guess what it smelled like? They would spread the manure, and then the water would, if it rained thereafter, it went right down into the well. Wow. And so I know that the chemicals that they're spraying today, and I'm waiting for somebody on this chat to say I'm full of crap, because
no, you won't get that.
No, I'm teasing, because no wonder he's full of crap. It was in his water. So anyway, that was proof enough to me that if it rained after they spread the cow manure, then anytime it rained after they spread the chemicals currently, it's going down into our well and whoever else's well that's local.
Mm-hmm.
Lily, I'm glad Katie is getting better. Amanda and Jennifer, this is Carolina Dream, is asking for prayers and healing for them as well. Grace and our beloved Elena, prayers over there as well. Lorraine, welcome. Good to see you as well. Yeah, there's so much that it just all makes sense now. Think about this. When the Roman Empire was in decline, turns out they started to have, lead in their water. Wow, no kidding. This is the thing to recognize. This battle that's going on with these parasitic leaders has been going on for thousands of years. Thousands of years. When it started, I don't know exactly. I think the event was the Younger Dryas period, and the big cataclysm that we saw with the Younger Dryas, because I believe that was an act of war. And war is what they're all about. So, say no to war, say hello to a period of peace, and we could change this world in no time. I mean, it would be so... You want to truly make America great again, we can make the world great, but we have to get rid of the power structure of a Kali Yuga to do it. So, we do that not by, obviously, no bloody revolution ever leads to a lasting peace. What would work is us simply joining hands and creating alternatives. For instance, we've actually started to do some bartering and trade with people. And I think that is one thing you can do, because what are they going to do? And they have. I have seen where in certain places, and you guys probably could even come up with some, they've put in legislation that if you bartered and traded, they want to tax you on it somehow. It wouldn't even surprise me at all, but that just shows what a parasitic system this is. Here you go. Ukrainian parliament proposes to put all males down to the age of 14 in draft registration. Are you insane? Again, Ukraine didn't exist as a nation in the 70s or the 60s when I was born. So is it worth destroying the entire world? Or at least, they've already lost hundreds of thousands, if not millions of lives. For what? Who's going to lead? They're all parasites in the first place. So, pick your favorite parasite.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I mean, it's a big mess.
So I feel like, and I've said this in the past, that I really feel like when enough people wake up and say enough's enough, we come together and, we pray together. I really believe there's going to be a divine intervention, because the way I see it, all of these parasites that are at the top, they're not going to go willingly, and they have it set up, the technology, the systems that are in place. We don't want a revolution. We don't want a civil war. We don't want any of that. We just want to be left alone. We want to have peace in the world, and without some kind of, again, divine intervention, like you can't take one of these politicians out and put another one in, because they'll get either suicided or they will get corrupted. And so I really believe that we have to do it at a grassroots way, raise our own vibrations and all the people around us, and by virtue of that, everything else raises, and then the lower the negativity. And we're having some lights flickering as I'm talking here. That happened the other day whenever I was doing some work. So while this is a high vibe with the three of us here, we're going to send out love, light, and laughter, all of you guys, especially the people that you mentioned in the chat, because we're reading it. So we're sending them all this unconditional love.
There was a comment there about the fact that they can't plant now in North Carolina. It was Omnigma, because there's no topsoil because of the erosion from all the floods. This is also, there's other historical precedent for this. Lucius Aurelius, who has a channel that does a lot of tertiary stuff, that same thing happened back around I want to say it was somewhere in the 1800s. This is part of what what we find as a byproduct of these mud flood events. So it doesn't surprise me at all. We are going to head into a little challenging time ahead. And I said little, and, I guess I'm putting out my intentions that it'll only be a little bit challenging. Here you have a message from 47. Shalom Hamas means hello and goodbye. You can choose. Release all the hostages now, not later, and immediately return all the dead bodies of the people, etc., etc. He says, release the hostages now, or there will be hell to pay later. As we had said, it feels to me, anyway, this is just my feeling, that what is trying to be done is, we'll turn a blind eye and just let you do what you want with Ukraine, and just when something happens in the Middle East, don't attack back over there. More than likely it'll be Iran. And again, Iran does not have a red shield banking system, if you know what I mean. Byron Donalds just dragged four Democratic mayors in a brutal exchange talking about how much money was spent on illegal aliens. And so you have each of these mayors being questioned about what's going on, how much money did you spend, when, again, we have, our own citizens that are in dire straits, battling natural disasters that are of such a magnitude that people question the natural part of it. And what can you say? It goes on over here. You have Representative Anna Paulina Luna announcing she's going to referring all four mayors present today at the congressional hearing over to Pam Bondi for criminal persecution. Hold them accountable. Think about this. You're going to have a lot of public officials that, the precedent was set with 45. So now it's going to swing back into the other way. And then ultimately you just got to, you could get the picture of what's going on. And then you have over here, the Supreme Court ruled that it's unconstitutional to stop giving free money to foreign countries. So Supreme Court rejected President Trump's emergency request to freeze nearly $2 billion in foreign aid on Wednesday morning, saying a lower court judge should clarify what obligations the government must fulfill. So Chief Justice John G. Roberts Jr. and Justice Amy Coney Barrett joined the three liberal justices in a 5-4 vote. The case focuses on U.S. Agency for International Development and Aid. We've seen some of the things that were getting millions of dollars when you have our citizens that are homeless and living in tents. Yeah, it is pure insanity, and at some point in time, the reckoning is really coming. The Justice Department orders charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams dismissed. You cannot discount how corrupt this world has been.
Well, you see people saying the things, and there's a lot of support and what's going on, but then are they just saying the things and hiding behind the court judges? Is this all planned out? So really nothing is going to happen, but they're going to get people excited. I know just not even a few days ago, there was I can't say it out loud, but there was this big deal going on about someone's island, and there were supposed to be a bunch of names dropped, and I didn't see anything. I haven't heard a whisper about it. So I guess I'm just still kind of waiting for something to actually happen.
Well, the one thing we can do is look at what's being presented before us right now and see who the people are aligning with, because right now it's like we're unclear. Is this a good guy or a bad guy? You know what I mean? And they might play out that role for a while, but once they start voting, and even the Supreme Court judges, once they start ruling a certain way, the ones that were claiming it's against the Constitution compared to the ones it wasn't really. Whenever you dig into this, it's a tell. They're telling us exactly what side of the fence they're on, so that maybe down the road when people need to get rounded up, they'll be, it'll be obvious who to go for. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, everyone's kind of jockeying for their position, and we need to focus and pay attention maybe.
Okay, so here you have Jagmeet Singh saying, because we're in an emergency, now is not the time for an election. Laws must be passed, implemented first, and then an election second. Here you have, as you see, President Trump just bodied Governor Trudeau after the phone call about tariffs. And what it says is right here, and this concludes our thought from Singh. Justin Trudeau of Canada called me to ask what could be done about the tariffs. I told him many people have died from fentanyl that come through the borders of Canada and Mexico. Nothing has convinced me that it's stopped. He said that it's gotten better, but I said that's not good enough. The call ended in a somewhat friendly manner. He was unable to tell me when the Canadian election has taken place, which made me curious, like, what's going on here? I then realized he's trying to use this issue of the tariffs as an emergency, so there is no election. Yeah, again, I don't know. What can you say? It's just another sign of the times. Biden's $7 billion climate slush fund. Where did the money go? Yeah, they handed $7 billion to a shady pop-up nonprofit called Climate United Fund. A group that barely existed before was created November 2022 with $547,000 in revenue. By 2023, it already spent $451,000. Most of it mysteriously unaccounted for. No clear plans on how it will spend your $7 billion. Just vague solar projects worth a tiny fraction of that amount. Some of the cash was funneled to Stacey Abrams-linked groups. Who's behind it? CEO Beth Baffert, a former Obama aide, connections to insiders, including Democratic Party chairman and Obama's transportation secretary. This is exactly what's wrong with the system, because, we all get taxed beyond what we ever should be taxed, and it's just blatant stealing. And this, is what it shows, because the corporate world, the root of corporation is corpse. It's the same word. It's a dead, soulless agency or entity. And, the reality is they hide behind this. You could bankrupt a corporation. The same people could get together and start up another one and another and another and another. This is where we have to think out of the box. No more corporations, because it leads to an inability to hold people accountable.
Our system is set up in such a way that, and this has been proven over and over and over again about, okay, we're going to vote for what we all want. Because it's all rigged, we can't ever seem to get the right leader or the right organization out of power. I mean, with the lobbyists that are paying some of these people. And so this is what I'm saying. It's like, it's frustrating for me to watch, because one of two things, or both, maybe it's a combination. Either that this is just a stage, which it appears to be to me, or it's just flat out evil, and we are going to have to, again, at a grassroots level, raise our own vibrations, come together, and do it peacefully. But without that divine intervention, I really don't see how this is going to change. And I don't want to be a negative Nelly or anything like that. I'm just looking at the way things are. It's been already proven to us that the elections were stolen. Even our local people, there's no way this guy's going to get in, and they get in, and it's like, what in the heck is going on here? It's so obvious. So my thing is, okay, we know what the problem is. How are we going to solve this? What can we do? What can we individually do, and collectively for that matter? And the thing that keeps coming back, because I know that everything is energy, let's raise our vibration, and let's try that instead of war, instead of butting up against these people. I mean, there's a thing called loosh, and look into it. I mean, they create fear, anxiety, stress, and they are sucking off. They're like, literally, they are energy vampires. And so if we can raise our vibration, it kind of spoils the milk.
You know, I keep seeing it where it has to circle down to us, each individual person, to regain our own footing and do what we can without the external system needs, you know, just doing whatever you can at home, because that's what they've done. They've taken our power away, because really you can't go through a couple of weeks without going to the grocery store, without getting on Amazon, without this or without that. And when I lived out in the desert, it was really, really wonderful. The one thing that it did for me, it made me very resourceful. And because at that time, you couldn't just hop in a car and go to Vegas, you know, it was like 120 miles away for something. So you got together with other people, you became resourceful, you worked with your neighbors, you worked with your family. And because out of desperation, we did it out of desperation, because like I said, you can't just hop in a car and go. You have to figure things out. And in doing so, that little town that I absolutely love, you know, people came together out of hardship. So all the hardship that we are looking at, you know, we need to, I see it as a silver lining, because I know there will be beauty that comes out of it.
Meanwhile, the CDC tells about 180 fired employees to come back to work. So you have like some open defiance going on. Here you have RFK Jr. on the Texas measles outbreak, trying to restore faith in government, delivering vitamin A as well as some other things. Again, I was looking at an article that was, I want to say from the 1920s, and you got to look back historically at what's really been going on. I know most of you guys have a good idea of how far back all this goes, because it goes way back, way back. And then, you know, again, you have people that are like, come on, we need more. Like, where is all the stuff we were promised, because it hasn't all been delivered yet. You got to realize, too, this dark, parasitic control structure has been absolutely completely in charge for a very long time. So things do take time. We remember obviously what happened in the early 60s, and you know, we need some real solid change. There is some, but we need a lot more, and at the same time there's a lot going on behind the scenes. We'll have a Patreon exclusive up tomorrow with some deep dives into some insights that we have gotten. The sun's hidden influence on earthquakes. New research uncovers a surprising link. Well, the link is that the sun could actually help to trigger earthquakes, which I don't think really should be so surprising. I mean, look at the size of the sun. Look at the earth. There's a relationship between the two.
They have this conversation, and it has to do with ascension. And we are the same. We get information from the sun. Our bodies change. We got some really interesting information this morning from the galactics about our energy bodies. So yeah, it's very, very natural.
Have you guys heard of Dutch sense? I mean, like, this is irritating to me whenever the mainstream comes out. Oh my gosh, there seems to be a relation. Yeah, right. I mean, he has it down to a science, and of course they were up against this poor guy just going out and telling the truth, and he's predicting, oh well, if it happens here, it goes through the plates, and over here you're going to see it, and sure enough, I mean, he had it down. I'm like, I followed him just because I was like, oh my gosh, this is like legit. It's scientific, it's reproducible, but nobody would listen to him. And now all of a sudden, here we go. Now people will maybe accept this.
Right. I agree.
So over in Arkansas, repealing the state grocery tax, which was a good thing. Not all states tax on groceries, and working on common sense reforms so no one in the state goes hungry. You definitely see a lot of things heading in the positive direction in certain states. Other states, nothing really much at all. Don't be tricked by the labels. So here you have non-GMO project verified, which is no GMOs, but They could have synthetic pesticides, including Roundup, which has been proven to show that it can cause cancer. Hexane allowed, sewage sludge allowed, antibiotics allowed, etc. Over here, USDA, organic, you see none of the above. But even with all that, you still could have Gil Bates's you-know-what on it, so that slimy coating stuff, which is going to be an issue in my opinion. Zeolite detox testimony. In a matter of weeks, these detox products turned around my issues my son had been battling for over 10 years. The proof is in the pudding, y'all. This detox is amazing. My son had dark circles under his eyes since before he was 3 years old. Never did I think it could be from heavy metal toxicity or parasites. Everybody is fighting heavy metal toxicity and parasites, because even if we detox, it's going to you're going to be exposed to it immediately thereafter. So it just has to be a regular part of your program, that you're always detoxing and limiting your exposure as best as you can to these toxins and parasites.
Yeah, we need something to help clean out our body and go around and pick up all the things. Now, I've read some things about this recently. You just really want to be mindful of the source where you find it.
Always be mindful of the source. I mean, whether you're looking at vitamin C or the zeolite or anything else, I mean, do your research, do your due diligence, because, there's some stuff out there that's not so good. And you know what? When I was in New Mexico and Arizona, well, I think both actually, there was a particular grocery store that we were buying all this organic produce. And it came out later that they were spraying, because you know how you're going through the produce aisle and they spray water on it to try to keep it fresh? Mm-hmm. Well, it wasn't just water. Oh, no. On the top of the shelf, they were spraying chemicals to keep it fresh. Oh, my. So out of all the organics and all the extra money you spent on it, years later, after you think that you were doing the best you could for your body, they're still poisoning us that way.
Right. You want to think that maybe you could find a farmer locally, but you don't know what you don't know until you go there and you actually speak to them. That's what we do when we go to our farmers market. We talk to the people. We get to know them. We make friends with them. We want to understand them, because you know what? Maybe they don't know something. Maybe they're uneducated and they're doing something that you wouldn't approve of. But, you got to talk to them to find out. And they're very good people. All of these farmers, anyone who runs a farm, absolutely wonderful, wonderful people. So I have heard of people, kind of going up and just really kind of yelling and letting loose on some of these farmers. But you know what? They don't know what they don't know either. So I think we just need to be mindful of where we get our food. The closer you can get from your own hand to your own mouth, I think that's the way we need to do it.
Absolutely. So Robbie Berry was asking about ringworm again. Wormwood and cloves, black walnut hull, oil of oregano. We use colloidal silver. All these things are always, a lot of times right on the counter.
Yeah, you know what? If that were me, I'd probably put on some black seed oil or castor oil. I've had so much luck. Organic, of course, you want organic cold pressed. I've had so much luck with castor oil. You just don't want to actually ingest it. That's the one thing you don't want to do. But topically, it is a wonder. And then we work with someone who's very beautiful, and she knew someone who is having trouble getting a sore to heal, and they added in a little bit of black seed oil, and that sore was actually able to heal. So, and then you want to kind of be mindful of what you're putting in your body, because that could also feed the thing.
So if it's truly ringworm, if it is ringworm, if you have it properly diagnosed, it's a fungal infection. But there's eczema that looks just like what we call tinea, or a fungal infection. And so you have to be, and this isn't medical advice, not one of you guys are my patient that I know of, so I have to tell you just to look this stuff up. But I'm trying to lead you in the right direction. So if it's fungal, how would you treat that naturally or otherwise? And so eczema, again, that's, when we look in medicine, if somebody has eczema, we look for two other things. It's kind of a triad of events. Do they have allergies and do they have asthma? Because they come hand in hand, those three. And a lot of it has to do with an allergic reaction to something, whether it be animal dander, whether it be plants, and when you're fueling the fire, somebody that's got tinea or a fungal infection, it could be just like one of the patients came in, they had a leather watch, and because it stayed moist and wet all the time, it was like, okay, is this an irritation and eczema from the leather, or is it actually tinea, which is a fungal infection? And in which case, you can do a scraping of it, and you can look at it under a microscope, and you can tell right away, yep, this is a fungal infection, so therefore I need to treat it with an antifungal. But if you're fueling that fire with sugar, a lot of people that have diabetes, and because their sugar's out of control, a lot of them have like yeast infections and fungal infections. And so, it's just look into what are the best practices for, avoiding, especially fructose. I mean, we don't even have regular sugar anymore. I mean, you look on the back of the labels, and next thing you see fructose. I'm like, why is that on there twice? It's the first thing, so it's a lot of it in there. And then it's twice. It's like ketchup, for instance, I mean, so you got to start reading labels. I mean, there's a lot of things that people can do. I mean, we got the internet, we got computers in our pockets. I mean, these cell phones are just crazy wonderful right now.
As long as the radiation doesn't get you.
That's why I paused for. I'm like, we did a little bit of our own research the other day. The electromagnetics that come off of these things, when you do the test, when it's plugged in and you're holding it, I mean, you're taking that in. It didn't even go off whenever it wasn't plugged in. But it did go off whenever you rang the phone and the cell service was coming through and you turned it on. And so, again, you have to do your own research, and you got to look, because, they're safe. Everything's safe. Like, why is glyphosate still on the market after all these people end up with cancers from it, and they win the case in court?
Yeah.
It's just ludicrous to me.
And it's still sitting right there. It's just sitting right there. In my journey with anything on the skin, helping my gut be my immune system backup was really, really helpful. There was a time in my life where my gut, it had nothing in it. My microbiome was completely wiped out because I didn't do the right things, but I learned a lot, and to heal my gut pretty much kind of took care of everything.
Nice to see you, Zeno and Keith H. and Christine and everybody that came late. What Robbie was talking about, again, antibiotics blast your whole microbiome. So you got to start from scratch. Yeah, it really is. This is why Cindy makes her own yogurt. Meanwhile, Gil Bates and other investors are saying they can reduce carbon dioxide by cutting down and burying trees. They want to thin 70 million acres of western forests. This is absolutely, he's truly a complete Draco, complete 100%. You don't get any more reptilian than that. When you talk about eliminating trees, they work in a symbiotic relationship with us mammals, and it takes me right back to looking at the different yugas. In case you're not familiar with the cycle of the yugas, we go through a cycle of the yugas. The entire universe goes through this, and when we're in the Satya Yuga, according to tradition, people are like the gods. We are like, the most incredible superhero you can imagine, literally. And when you look to a lifespan, it's thought that humans could live, and this sounds crazy, 100,000 years. I think the years are relative, so to speak. But also people are giants, like 30 feet tall. And in the Silver Age, people are still much bigger. Again, the question as to, who are some of these giants, that we hear in our myths and legends? Well, we are some of them. Absolutely. There's many different types. And really, when you get down to it, you're talking about inner earth beings, beings that are living on the parts of Earth that are not quarantined, because we are in a quarantine zone that's ruled by these reptilian, draconian entities. And then, of course, extraterrestrials as well. And so, in the Silver Age, we still live very long lives, thousands of years. And we are also much larger and healthier. Even in the Bronze Age, it's said that humans can live 1,000 years in a Bronze Age. Well, we just entered the Bronze Age. And also humans will grow bigger. Again, it's going to take a little while to get rid of the system, but the system is going to go. For those that try to stay as organic as possible, again, do all the things you can to better yourself, mind, body, spirit. Have a regular exercise program. Do your best to eat the best you possibly can. Limit the processed foods, because there's all sorts of hidden things in there that are horrible for you. Get out into nature as much as you can. Unplug. Again, thankfully, we have left the Kali Yuga, but at the same time, the control structure is still in place right now, although it is starting to fray at the seams. So the Kali Yuga, according to many, began 3102 BC. It's interesting. This is according to the Vedic system. Again, the people of the Indus Valley over in what we would call India, Pakistan, even up into Afghanistan, and some of the other stands too, like Kazakhstan, etc., Uzbekistan. But what's really interesting too, this 3102 is also very, very close to the Mayan calendar for when we entered this period. It's only just a few years off. And that is really curious because, again, you're talking Central America and you're talking India. How did they have about the exact same time in mind for the beginning of the Kali Yuga? Very curious, is it not? Well, again, we've had global societies and civilizations with far more advanced technology than now.
I think one of the things I learned on my journey is that when I started to expand my research is, wow, we are definitely not the pinnacle of modern technology, anything at all. In fact, we are, we might as well be in the Stone Age compared to a lot of the things that were done in different ages, and there's all kinds of markings where there was technology, in a different time, not in our time. So understanding that beings are everywhere. And then, the beings that, if you're looking at the screen, that's something that's very, very, very beautiful. And, I look at this and I feel it's very angelic.
Yeah, this is in Sweden. So, is it just Northern Lights? Well, what really is Northern Lights, and this is not really typical Northern Lights, as you see some go flying by. We've never been alone, guys. In fact, there's nowhere you could go to be alone, because in other densities, there's always beings walking through you all day long.
Plasma. Plasma is a substance that they didn't really teach us a whole lot about in school, but it's the thing that our dense bodies are made of. And other beings can have this plasma and you could walk right through them, or they could be on different densities. So I think the realization that energy never dies, it simply transforms, that can be very helpful for those who might be mourning a loved one or mourning a pet. That energy simply transforms, and they are still attainable. They're still there for you to communicate with. They did not go anywhere.
Won't it be wonderful when we get to that time frame where we can teach our children from as soon as they are old enough to talk and show them things about energy, about true healing, about all of the stuff that's like true, the truth. When we get to that point, and I'm with you, Mike, I think we have to go through a rough patch here, but once we get through that, and I don't know the time frame, I'm not real good. It's really difficult to judge time, but I have an intuition about me that has a gut feeling, and it's not steered me wrong in most of my life. And I just have this feeling like we're going to go through a rough patch, but on the other side of that, things are going to be like miraculous. I mean, I think we're heading there now. I'm very positive about it. And you try to prepare the best you can for the times that, are lean. You put some money back, you put some food back, and, I'm really optimistic about our future.
Ginger Albright, it's great to see you. She says, my husband and I saw plasma beings in the sky once. And, it's not you said it was a wonderful experience, but you didn't only see them. They were probably putting off that energy that gave you those feelings. So we listen with our whole body. And many people think, well, we see with our eyes, we hear with our ears. But when we are having a conversation with different beings, it's your whole body is involved, mainly the heart chakra. That's the most important chakra to read energy with. And sometimes that can be difficult if you're someone with a really broken heart and you have a lot of trauma. That can create blocks and kind of maybe change the energy that you're reading, but you were feeling them, and it could have very well, maybe it was part of your star family, and our star families do come and they see us usually when we need them really, really bad. They come and they show themselves to us, and I've seen a lot of people get pictures of them. They're there. Our star family is here to help us, guide us, and help us heal.
Absolutely. And look at this little cutie pie. So, again, it's not just us that are living in this system. It's all the other creatures. So we send, again, positive intentions and prayers to all the living entities on the planet. And Cindy's going to give us a ding before we say goodbye. She is going to do a little tuning on us.
Okay, you guys, you know the drill. Happy thoughts. You need a happy thought. Please envision what you want your life to be like, because we are going to connect you to your higher self, and we're going to have a really probably a big manifestation video when it comes around March 14th with that lunar eclipse. I'm so excited. It's like you really want to manifest on that day, but today we're going to hook you to your higher self. And keep in mind that our energy bodies are always listening. They're just constantly listening to our thoughts, to our feelings, to our emotions. So when I hit this tuning fork, you definitely want to have a happy thought in mind, because that's the energy that's going to go out into the universe. And that's what you're going to connect with your higher self with. And you're going to feel a lot better. So happy thoughts at the count of 1. I'm going to count backwards from 3. 3, 2, 1. Happy thoughts. You guys are amazing. You're wonderful. Please enjoy your night. Get lots of rest. Hug your kids. Hug your pets. Enjoy your life. It's a blessing to be here with you. I think we're done.
Namaste.
Yeah, that's nice. Namaste.
Namaste, guys.